Hey, I'm Myers. Want to talk about a few different things going on. As many of you know who've been watching these videos, I started this YouTube channel reviewing punk and roll records for a few different reasons. One, Flipside and Maximum Rock and Roll don't exist anymore, and I thought, what if you did, Maximum Rock and Roll or Flipside style record reviews, but then show the cover art, show, inserts, liner notes, the vinyl itself, because there's been, a lot of really beautiful marble and splatter vinyl records come out over the years, and you know, and then the advent of thicker, 180, 200 gram vinyl that some people argue is more prone to warpage. Some people, less prone. I like thicker vinyl due to the fact that I believe they can cut the groove deeper, and cutting the groove deeper doesn't necessarily. A lot of people associate a deeper groove as being louder, and that's not necessarily the case. The deeper the groove, the more information you can get in there, which might mean more headroom, more like more dynamics between like the quietest thing on your record, and the loudest thing. So like you think about the loudest things on the record as being screams and cymbal crashes, and then the quietest thing might be some chimes, or glockenspiel, or a faint whatever, synth sort of deal or whatever. So that's why I like thicker vinyl, but to each their own. But I thought, yeah, I'd do these record reviews, and and I thought about it for a while. Like I didn't want to do this. I wanted somebody else to do it, but I mentioned it several times, and nobody really picked up the mantle. And it's one of them deals where I'll just fucking do it. And so you're stuck with what I got, because I'm not the most dynamic personality, and and then the other thing that happened was February 11th, our youngest daughter Ashley died, and I want to talk about that in this video. I want to talk about it because today is the first day of Pride Month, and my youngest daughter is a trans woman, and we didn't know, she didn't come out until she was 22, and so like raising this kid, there was a lot of issues with depression, and suicidal talk, and suicidal threats, and I was up at the school a lot, advocating for this kid. This kid dealt with bullying from other students and from teachers, and and I, the school she was going to, I wouldn't characterize as a school. They took two of the biggest middle schools in Sioux City, Iowa, and combined them into one to make North Middle. And I straight up told the school administration one time, this ain't a school, this is a fucking warehouse. I know, because I run warehouses, and in a warehouse, a school that big, inevitably kids are going to slip through the cracks, but it ain't going to be my fucking kid. So if you don't want to see me on a regular basis, you figure out what you need to do to educate this kid. And yeah, I was up North Middle a lot when my daughter was like in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and so a lot of things, like, it was just hard raising this kid. And then all of a sudden, when she came out as being trans at the age of 22, everything made sense. It's like a light bulb went off. Like, aha! All along, we've been dealing with a trans kid who couldn't express what was going on with herself, or could, and so, and then, like, Sioux City is a really fucking backward conservative town. Yeah, Sioux City's my home, and I talk about Sioux City a lot. And, there's friends of mine, there's a lot of my good friends of mine from Sioux City. A lot of you people know Sioux City Pete out in Seattle. And Sioux City Pete, I don't call him that. I call him Pete. Pete's a fucking brother of mine. I've been friends with that fucking chap for 35 years, and Pete and I go way fucking back, and when I say I love him like a brother, I think a lot of people misuse that term. I think a lot of people say love him like a brother is, oh yeah, everything's great, I really admire this guy. No, like, Pete and I love each other like brothers. We're like, we fucking fight. Like, when we get sick of one another's shit, we fucking call each other on it. And we fucking fight about it. Like fucking brothers do. And like, that's the kind of relationship I have with that motherfucker. And, and he'll tell you the same fucking thing about me. I fucking know it. I know fucking Pete Phillips will come around and tell you, yeah, that Ryan Myers runs Sioux Guitars or Sioux Records or whatever, he's a good friend of mine, but man, he could be a fucking asshole. Because Pete and I have that relationship. And so anyways, coming from Sioux City, when our daughter came out as being trans, I wasn't upset. I wasn't mad. I wasn't, like, I was just really concerned for her. I was just really, it's my fucking kid, dude. Like, I want the best for my kid. So I sat down with her, and I'm like, look, I understand this is what you need to do to, be you, but this is going to be really fucking hard for you if you try to do it in Sioux City. Of any place around here in the Midwest, I would recommend trying to, pursue this. It would be Minneapolis. Minneapolis has a really great LGBTQ community, and they are really progressive in that. And she agreed, and she talked to my wife, and she come up with this game plan of how she was going to save some money and move to Minneapolis and start transitioning. And so, anyways, she did that, and she moved to Minneapolis. I don't know. I want to say maybe like November or December of 2019. And she got settled, and she found doctors and whatever that you need to transition, and she took her first dose of hormones on Leap Day 2020, and she was so excited. We were there that day, and she was so excited about taking her first dose of hormones and whatever. And then not even, that was Leap Day, and basically the whole fucking country shut down on St. Patrick's Day of 2020. And Minneapolis really took COVID seriously. There was severe lockdowns and whatever. And, so when you move to a new community, when you move, to a new city, and you're trying to find your people, you're trying to find your tribe, find friends where you fit in and make connections and everything. But then you're in the middle of a global fucking pandemic, and it isn't that, she couldn't make friends because she's trans or anything like that. Like, I mean, there's connections. I mean, she found a lot of her tribe through the gaming community, the online, like playing Xbox online and shit. But during the lockdown, she was hampered where she couldn't go meet people in person or whatever. And she's so giddy and excited about taking her own hormones, but she's lonely. She's struggling because she doesn't have that that connection with like that jumping off point, that base that everybody needs of reliable friends and family and connection, and she didn't have that in Minneapolis. And then while COVID's going on, George Floyd gets murdered about 15 blocks from her apartment. And yeah, my daughter's a real fucking empathetic kid, and whatever, and it bothered her, and like all the unrest and all that sort of shit during the George Floyd protests in Minneapolis. It was really I've been around a long time, and I love Minneapolis. I love the fact that they got a great LGBTQ community. I love that they have a great art scene. I love all the great fucking bands out of Minneapolis. They love, it's a great city in a lot of regards, but the killing of George Floyd and the reaction to it was so fucking ugly. And you had Boogaloo Boys coming up from Texas to burn down police departments to try to start a fucking race war, and people who had nothing to do with it, I mean, it was a rough time, and for a lonely kid who's trying to find her people, trying to find her tribe, she had a rough time. And she met somebody online, and this gal come out to meet our daughter. I don't know, I might have this wrong. I think our daughter went out to Virginia to meet this gal, and then like 3 weeks later, this gal was moving to Minneapolis to be with our daughter. And this gal was feisty and tenacious and really pursued our daughter, and just straight up told her, we're going to be in a relationship. And so anyways, they were living in Minneapolis, struggling, like everybody got laid off. There was because nobody could go to work, or if you did keep your job, there were no paychecks really coming in or whatever. So these two kids were struggling and shit. And and this girl told our daughter, if you want to move out to Virginia with us, that's where I'm from, we can live with my mom for a while and get established, and whatever. And that's what they did. But I remember one day my wife and I were up in Minneapolis, and we were out with our daughter at lunch. We were at lunch, this place called the Red Cow or something on Hennepin. It's a burger joint. We were sitting there, and my daughter sitting across the table from me, and I looked her straight in the face, and I'm like, you have blossomed so much. The kid just blossomed. She come out of her shell, and she became the person who she needed to be. And she was so happy. And as a parent, that's all I really fucking wanted. I didn't care if she was male or female. I wanted my kid to be happy. I needed her to be okay with being who she was. And she finally was getting there. And, and she really just fucking blossomed. And, And there's other shit she told my wife and I. She told my wife stuff like she felt this way since she was like 4 or 5 years old. And I don't know what your oldest memory is, but my oldest memories are from being about 4 or 5 years old, which tells me my daughter felt this way all of her fucking life that she can remember. You know, I remember little moments from when I was like 3 or so. I remember little details from when I was like 3 or 4, but you know, like I don't have memories. And so, if she's been feeling this since she was 4 or 5 years old, she's felt this way her whole life. She talked about how she was in elementary school and she stole some girls' clothes out of the lost and found box at the school and took them home and put them on in private and felt normal. And you know, whatever. I mean, I don't care what a person needs to wear to feel normal or whatever. It just, I want somebody to be okay with being themselves. And so, yeah, I mean, my kid was blossoming, and you know, she still struggled with depression and whatever, but you know, I think she was having more good days than bad days. And you know, so she died in February and got in an accident, and you know, gun went off and she died. And you know, from what the investigators told us, you know, it sounds like it was an accident. And you know, and I've heard people argue, well, guns don't just go off. Well, right. And mustard just doesn't end up on fucking shirts. But I've eaten hot dogs with the best of intentions and ended up with mustard on my shirt. You know, how many times have you knocked over a glass of water or got mustard on a shirt, or, you know, inadvertently broke glass, or, you know, shit happens, you know. And unfortunately, you know, Ashley died. And, you know, so... Anyways, and the whole reason I'm doing this video and, you know, laying all this stuff out for you guys, today's the first day of Pride Month. And, you know, I'm kind of a rough guy. I mean, I'm kind of... you know, my parenting technique with my kids was a lot like Red Foreman on that 70s show. You know, I told my kids they were dumbasses a lot, or, well, I didn't tell them that, but I kind of had a gruff, you know, you need to figure it out because life is going to be tough, and, you know, this is all dress rehearsal for life. And, you know, but, you know, I'm a blue-collar guy. I mean, I work in an office now, but I've always been a blue-collar guy. I come from a blue-collar background. I come from a line of truck drivers. My dad owned trucks and trailers, ran the West Coast. My grandfather was a Teamster. I've been a Teamster. You know, you know, I'm kind of a rough guy, rough around the edges. But, you know... I also understand privilege. I understand white privilege and male privilege and hetero privilege, and you know, and the fact that I look like a typical Trump supporter. I feel like I need to use that privilege I inherently have. You know, I didn't ask for it, but I have it. And so the way I'm going to use my male privilege and my white privilege and my hetero privilege is by trying to protect and bring up those who don't have it. You know, you know, it's the beginning of Pride Month, and God damn it, I don't like kids, but if you're some fucking trans kid or gay kid who has been disowned by your fucking family and got no place to go, you can come to our house. I won't like you, but you can come here and you'll be safe. You know, I mean, I'll protect you, you know, Don't have to like you, but I'll still stand up for you. You know, this world has gotten really fucking ugly. You know, and it's been about 10 years since last time I got in a physical altercation. You know, there was a night at the Chesterfield where Mickey Select and I had to drag a guy out on his back, and you know, he was throwing punches and whatnot. And you know, I'm not the scrapper I was 20 some years ago. 25 years ago, I used to like to go out fighting. I used to like to get, you know, my Irish up and go fighting. But I'm not that guy anymore. But, you know, goddamn, if I got to fucking defend some, you know, gay or trans kid, lesbian kid, like, I will, you know. I'm an ally. You know, my wife is put it out there that she's a mama bear, that, you know, she, you know, will protect and take care of gay and trans kids and whatever. And you know, I'm not the friendliest fucking type guy. You know, like I said, I'm pretty gruff and rough around the edges, but I will stick up for gay kids and trans kids. And you know, it's just, it disgusts me. You know, like our daughter, like my wife asked my daughter, like, why didn't you come out sooner? And she said, because I was afraid you'd stop loving us. And you know, and like we had a really great relationship with our daughter, where like there's no reason for her to think that. There was no reason for her to think that, but like, she's playing these fucking games. She's on her headset playing Xbox and whatever, and she's playing these games with these kids. And, you know, one of her friends that she plays these games with would come back into the game and say, I told my parents I'm trans and they kicked me out of the house. You know, I got to find a new place to live. Or I came out to my parents and they disowned me. And, you know, and so that's the reality. Like, you know, most kids, most trans kids, when they come out, they're disowned or thrown out of their houses. And so this whole idea of you know, we got to ban trans athletes in high school sports, that's not a fucking thing. That's not a fucking thing. There's not a plethora of cisgendered male boys who are going to pretend to be girls or fucking rig the fucking girls' basketball bracket. That's not a fucking thing! You dumb fucking Republican pieces of shit! That's not a thing! The thing is, most trans kids don't fucking come out as kids into their adulthood because they're fucking terrified. These kids are living in fear. They're terrified that their parents will disown them and throw them out. They're terrified their parents will quit loving them. They're terrified of what the reaction would be. These kids live in fucking fear. And I hope you're fucking proud of yourselves, you fucking racist, bigoted, homophobic, transphobic, fucking sexist pieces of shit Republicans. You fucking suck. You want people to live in fear? But you claim that you wrap yourself in the flag and you carry the Bible and you fucking say, well, this is what Jesus would want. No, he wouldn't. You think Jesus is, I've read in the fucking Bible, wants people to fucking live in fear? You gotta fucking re-examine how you fucking believe in shit. Really re-examine it. You know, because having kids live in fear of, you know, what happens if people find out who they really are. There's no way for them kids to live. You know. Trans kids happen. Gay kids happen. You know. So, like I said, it's been a long time since I've had a physical altercation, and it's been a while since I've gotten my Irish up. But this fucking hatred that the Republican and the religious rights and the MAGA fucking dipshits all bring up, it gets my Irish up, and I'll fucking defend the shit out of any fucking gay or trans kid that, you guys are fucking bullies. And here's the real fucking truth. You want to know the real truth about it? The reality is, in 40 years of Reaganomics, middle class is fucking shrank, man. This trickle-down economics, it hasn't improved the middle class. Reagan fucking, broke the back of the unions by forcing the air traffic controllers back to work. And, so the middle class has shrank, with broken unions and, this, that, and, so these tax cuts for billionaires, this right now we're talking about, the debt ceiling and this and that. And we got to figure out how to balance the budget. Well, balance the budget by making the billionaires pay their own fucking share. I mean, 2 fucking Americans do not need their private fucking space programs. I mean, we already have NASA. We don't need a billionaire space. I mean, I heard somebody fucking call Elon Musk Space Karen, and like he has a total Space Karen, but trickle down economics and welfare for the rich has not fucking panned out for us, and your life hasn't gotten any better because of it. And because they don't want you asking questions, well, why hasn't my life gotten better with giving billionaires tax cuts? And if this trickle down, when's it going to trickle down to me? They don't want you asking those questions. So they're going to tell you who to blame why your life sucks. Well, it's these gay kids, these minorities, we're going to have you blame anybody and everybody. But the fucking reality is corporate fucking welfare and these tax cuts for billionaires. That the people who can afford to pay it the most are paying the fucking least. And so that's the reality of it. Trans kids aren't a fucking issue. Rich motherfuckers who don't want to pay their taxes are an issue. And, but they don't want to talk about that. This deflection and distraction, we're going to turn it where, we get you wound up about this. And, well, as a trans dad, you got my fucking Irish up. And, so I don't know. I mean, and since our daughter died and, a few people found out, she was trans and whatnot, like I've had a couple friends of mine reach out to me, tell me that they've got trans kids also. And I told these guys, these were guys telling me about having trans kids. I told them, it's up to us to normalize this. If you're afraid for your kid and how the world's going to react to your kid, us guys who look like fucking Trump supporters need to normalize it. We need to let our friends know we're not okay with gay jokes. We're not okay with trans kids being the punchline. We're not okay with disparaging remarks and slurs and and we need to normalize our kids' lives. I mean, my kid, she was pretty fucking normal in a lot of regards. The only thing different about my kid than yours is, gender dysphoria. And, so me talking about this, me normalizing this, me letting you guys know that, I had a trans daughter and I fucking love her, And it has crushed my wife and I, and our other two daughters and our grandkids. That she's gone. It's left a huge fucking void in our lives. And but yeah, it's the beginning of Pride Month, and I don't know. My wife and I were at an event a few weeks ago where we saw some trans women dancing, and they looked so happy, and we thought of the what ifs, the possibilities for our daughter, and then reality fucking punched us in the face of there are no what ifs. Our daughter's dead, and it was a cold fucking reality, but I want to see all trans people as happy as I saw those trans women dancing a few weeks ago. And I want you to know that, if you're LGBTQ and you need some Archie Bunker, Red Foreman looking motherfucker, some asshole looks like a Trump supporter, to stand up and have your back, this motherfucker will do it. I probably won't like you, but I'll stand up for you. And if you need somebody to love and support you or whatever, talk to my wife. That's her wheelhouse. And that's a pretty normal dynamic where you got the caring mother and the gruff, grumpy dad. But, and I get it. I get a lot of you kids get disowned by your families and thrown out. And I won't disown you. I won't throw you out. Doesn't mean I like you. But, don't be afraid of saying hi. Don't be afraid of knowing there's motherfuckers like me who, scrapper. I used to be a scrapper, and I used to be hard drinking, loudmouth fucking yob. When I got sober, I tried to become a better person, and I guess on that path of being a better person, what I need to do is, look out for people who need looking out for. So, don't be afraid of saying hi. Sorry for such a bummer, sad fucking message here. I want you guys to celebrate Pride Month. I want you guys to have fun. I want everybody to be as fucking happy as those trans women that I saw dancing a few weeks ago. I know it's ugly times, man. I get it. But, there's guys like me who are in your corner. And I think we're going to be a lot more vocal. In the future, you're going to see a lot more vocal dads like myself coming out, standing up for LGBTQ kids. So, yeah. And, fuck you, you MAGA fucking Republican, homophobic, piece of shit, racist, fucking feminist, or anti-feminist, God, you want to get rid of abortion, you want to go after birth control, you want to get rid of fucking no-fault marriage because you want to keep women trapped and held hostage. That ain't fucking being a man. A woman would want to be with you if you got something to offer, but you ain't got shit to offer and want to hold her hostage. And fucking repugnant. Republicans are repugnant. And the fucking thing about it is, you don't have the fucking votes to back it up, man. The only way you guys fucking stay in power is by rigging the fucking elections, gerrymandering, and trying to make it harder and harder for people to vote. Because the reality is, most people don't agree with your fucking bullshit. You guys are the minority. And it's going to take us a hot minute to get organized, but once we do, the working class, LGBTQ, minorities, everybody who doesn't fit in your fucking little fucking box, we're coming after you. As far as we ain't putting up with this shit. We're going to make sure that you guys don't have the power to fuck up our world. You're not going to fucking have the power to fucking eliminate abortion or penalize women for wanting a divorce or whatever the fuck you got concocted. So, I was going to do a review of this Paul Collins record. Great record, but I'll save it for a different day. Happy Pride Month.